While the world leaders are meeting in Alberta, Canada's eastern premiers are meeting with U.S. governors in Boston today. They're looking for solutions to try and ease the impact of tariffs on both sides of the border. CTV's Sarah Plowman is joining us from Boston this morning. Sarah, how are these meetings going to play out?
Good morning. Well, in about an hour or so from now, the premiers are expected to arrive here at the State House in Boston, and they'll be meeting with the governors from a variety of New England states, New York, Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, and more. And they'll be talking about things like trade. They'll be talking about things like the impact of tariffs. They'll be talking about energy files they expect, tourism. And then afterwards, we'll get to hear from them at around noon local time to hear what happened, what they talked about, and if any solutions they could come up with. We'll be able to ask questions and hear what they said.
Sarah, reminder, which eastern provinces are represented and who's there?
Yeah, so all four Atlantic premiers are here, as well as Ontario's premier, Doug Ford. And then there's also, while Quebec's premier isn't here, there is a representative from Quebec. The Minister of Economy is here. And just a reminder, I mean, these states and these provinces, they do sort of have like a regular cycle of meetings. They meet at least once a year. They have for decades. But yet this summit comes at a time when negotiations are ongoing to come up with a deal at a time when there's been a months-long trade war between the two countries, at a time when Canadian tourists, some of them are choosing to boycott travel to the U.S., and that's something that's upset, the governor of Maine. She's talked about that a little bit lately, saying that there's been a drop in tourism, and that's one reason why she's put up these signs throughout Maine. I drove down from New Brunswick yesterday, and I saw at least one of them, these Welcome Canadian signs at different locations throughout Maine, trying to draw Canadians back in. But yes, it will be sort of those premiers as well as a number of governors here and other representatives.
Sarah, we do know that tourism has been one of the pain points that's been felt in the United States, but I'm curious about what the premiers are hoping to accomplish, and the governors as well, because in discussions that we've had, really ultimately the ultimate decision about what happens with trade and with tariffs lies with the White House, and particularly the Oval Office with President Trump. So when they're having these discussions, is there any hope of a deal or any kind of a framework even, or is this just sort of a chance for them to keep talking?
It's sort of a chance for them to keep talking, but I mean, depending on who you ask, they have maybe a different answer to that. Premier Tim Houston of Nova Scotia, he says that, ultimately, he pointed out, as you did, the decision is made by President Donald Trump around tariffs, but this is a chance for the premiers and the governors to get together, to have a good relationship, and that's a positive thing. But Premier Susan Holt of New Brunswick, when she was asked about what she hopes to accomplish, she talked about how she wanted to talk about the energy file, pointing out that, actually about 90% of cars in Boston, she says, are driving with fuel that was refined in New Brunswick. There's a lot of energy that comes down here. There's a lot of other important files like tourism, like you said. But she also said that they'll be looking for insights from these governors as to how they could best deal with the White House, how they could best deal with U.S. President Donald Trump. And she says, ideally, they would get all the governors to loudly and formally articulate their objection to these tariffs and share that message with the White House. But I will point out the governor who's hosting this meeting, Governor Healy, she is a Democrat. Most of these governors are Democrats. There is one governor here who is a Republican from Vermont, and so that sort of plays into this as well.
CTV's Sarah Plowman in Boston for those meetings today. Thanks for your time. If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.